Africa has a lot of women smallholder firms and women in agribusiness. If you look across the continent, actually, 68% of economically active women are in agriculture. And what that means then is that we have to focus on women and what their needs and priorities are. As much as women are doing the production and as much as we have women in agribusiness, they're facing a lot of challenges, some of them to do with, for example, access to finance. If you look at the proportion of women who own bank accounts in a country like Zambia, we have only 26% of women farmers that have a bank account. And this is compared to 49% of men who have a bank account. And some of these challenges are both supply and demand driven, because if women have lower access to income, it is unlikely that they'll then go and open a bank account. But at the same time, we see banks not lending to women because they think that women are a risky business, or women do not have the collateral to actually get access to the finance. And that's a huge challenge for women. Statistics show that women have a less than 50% chance of getting a loan from a finance institution if they apply for it. More specifically, about 30% chance of getting a loan from a financial institution if they apply for one. But even when women have access to finance, there's a lot of other gender barriers that they face. For example, we have some work in informal settlements in Kenya where lack of access to childcare facilities is stopping a lot of young women from going out and looking for work or from going out and starting businesses.
You've mentioned something very interesting, making financial services womenable. That was very interesting. Now, like you said, women have less chance to get a bank loan compared to their male counterparts. But if you look at many businesses, most of them are run by men. Don't you think that's the reason that's causing banks to be reluctant when it comes to giving loans to women?
Actually, evidence shows that women-owned businesses are as likely as men-owned businesses to succeed. And if women are given the right resources and the right support, but there's actually no big difference between the productivity of women-owned businesses and men-owned businesses. The biggest challenge is that we're not providing women with the same resources that we're providing men. That's one thing. The second thing that you point to is this parity in women-owned businesses. So although Africa has the highest proportion of women entrepreneurs globally, if you look at the parity in countries, it's only, none of the countries actually has achieved a 50% rate of women agribusinesses as a proportion of total businesses in the country. Only Ghana is close at 46%. So 46% of businesses in Ghana are owned by women. And a lot of what we've been trying to do is thinking that women are it is more risky to lend to women. But even evidence of some of the businesses owned by women right now, we know that not to be the case. There's a lot of perceptions about the capabilities of women to run a business. But we also know large businesses that are owned by women. So it's an issue of how, especially financial inclusion organizations like banks view women as business people. That when a woman walks into a bank, you should see a bankable client. But a lot of that has to do with, when I talk about making financial services womenable, rather than keep trying to make women bankable, is this realization that it is not the women that we need to fix. Women are in agribusiness. It is the systems that need to address the needs and priorities of women. So it is the financial institution systems, it is their requirements for collateral that women in most cases don't have. It is those services that need to start recognizing women as an investment potential. It is those systems, banks, governments that need to start looking at women and believing and investing in women.
All right. So according to the Agenda 2063, Africa targets to have people-driven development, especially women and youth. Mm-hmm. So does that give you hope that one day that recognition you are talking about is going to happen?
So a lot of the policies right now actually give us hope as a continent. One of the things I'll say is we have very good policies on paper. We have very good aspirations, but we have to walk the talk. We have to make sure that those policies are implemented. I'll take the issue of land. In Kenya right now, we have a very progressive constitution that recognizes the rights of women to equal inheritance of land. Is that happening now? It is not happening to the extent that it should be happening. Why? Because cultural perceptions about women's ownership of land still remain. When you devolve the functions of administration of land to local level, you also have to make sure that that policy is translated to that local level. So those policies, those good intentions, and right now a lot of governments are actually saying, you know, we need to invest in women. Women are a resource. I mean, women are 51% of this continent. And so we know that no government, no country is going to prosper without focusing on women. So that is very clear now. But we need to take those policies to the ground. We have to make it right.